The 2026 Porsche 911 Carrera now starts at $129,950. Yep, that's nearly $8,000 more than last year. So the question is Porsche pricing us out of our dream car, or is the flat six fantasy still worth chasing? According to Car and Driver, the entire 992.2 lineup got a price bump. The base Carrera up $7,855. For buyers, price is now almost as important as performance, because let's be honest, even adrenaline has a budget. And with a possible 25% import tariff on the horizon, your dream car might soon cost dream house money. Porsche did throw in a new infotainment system and some nicer leather, probably hoping we wouldn't notice the invoice climbing faster than the tack needle. But is that enough? In this video, we're diving into what's changed, how tariffs might hijack your budget, and whether the 911 still delivers that legendary Porsche value, or if it's time to start appreciating it from afar like a Monet at an art museum. The 7,000 RPM Scream is still iconic, but in 2026, is it $130,000 iconic? Let's talk numbers. Brace your wallets. The 2026 Porsche 911 Carrera now starts at $129,950, up from $122,095 last year. That's a $7,855 hike, with no big mechanical upgrades. Porsche did throw in the previously optional $2,840 leather interior package as standard, but let's be real, that's not an 8K justification. That's fancy cowhide, not a turbocharger. And it's not just the base model feeling the inflation blues. Here's how the rest of the 911 family stacks up. Price jumps range from $5,000 to nearly $8,000 across the board. That's not a typo, it's a strategy. To put it in perspective, in 2020, a base 911 Carrera started at $97,400. That's a 33% price increase in just 6 years. Social media's calling it six-figure creep, and honestly, they're not wrong. So why the sudden sticker shock? Porsche cites rising material and labor costs, but Haggerty hints at something more strategic. Brands like Porsche are testing the pricing ceiling, using profits from Cayenne and Macan SUV sales to keep the 911 shiny and special. It's a classic halo effect maneuver. Here's a wild stat. The average annual price increase for the 911 since 2020 is around 8%, double the US inflation rate over the same period. And yet, demand is still roaring. Porsche sold over 5,000 units in the US in 2024 alone. Bottom line, prices are up, wallets are sweating, but Porsche knows the badge still holds power. So does the 911 still feel worth it at $129,950? Or has the dream become just that, a dream? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We're all in this expensive fantasy together. So what's actually new for the 2026 Porsche 911, and do the updates really justify that eyebrow-raising price bump? Let's break it down. First up, the infotainment system. Porsche has updated its PCM, Porsche Communication Management, to now support native third-party apps like Spotify and Apple Music. It runs faster, feels more responsive, and comes with a sharp-looking 10.9-inch display. If you compare it to a top-tier aftermarket head unit, this could be worth around $1,500. So it's not nothing. It's a solid quality of life update, especially for drivers who like their tech front and center. But is it the kind of change that makes your jaw drop? Probably not. Next, Porsche has made the leather interior package standard. In 2025, this upgrade cost $2,840 and included leather-wrapped seats, dashboard, and door panels, Now it's included in the base price. It definitely makes the cabin feel more upscale, and more like you're sitting in a luxury sports car rather than a stripped-out track toy. But let's be real, it's purely cosmetic. You're not gaining an extra speed, grip, or cornering ability from fancy stitching. Another addition is the roof rack prep kit, which is now standard equipment. Previously, this was a $500 option. If you're planning on taking your Carrera skiing or hauling a surfboard on top of your six-figure Porsche, this one's for you. For everyone else, it's just a checkbox on the spec sheet. A few new paint-to-sample colors and graphic decal packages are now available too, including one called Sean Peach, which sounds more like a smoothie flavor than a paint option. While these choices might be a big deal for collectors or people chasing Instagram clout, they don't move the needle for most drivers. And here's the big one. Mechanically, nothing has changed. The base Carrera still rocks the same 3.0-liter twin-turbo flat-six engine, making 394 horsepower and 331 pound-feet of torque. With the PDK gearbox, it hits 60 miles per hour in 3.7 seconds and tops out at 183 miles per hour. The chassis, suspension, and steering, all still class-leading, remain untouched. The magic is still there, but it's the same magic as last year. In the end, the 2026 updates are nice, but mostly cosmetic and tech-focused. One Reddit user summed it up well. Infotainment's nice, but 8K nice? Fair question. The driving experience hasn't changed. Whether the extra price is worth it, that's a call only your heart and your bank account can make. Let me know your verdict in the comments. Let's talk about Porsche's secret sauce. Beyond that glorious flat-six engine note, it's all about pricing psychology. Porsche has truly mastered the art of anchoring. They set the base 911 price ridiculously high, like Mount Everest high, and then tempt you up a staircase of pricey options. Want adaptive cruise control? That'll be $2,000. The sport exhaust? Another $3,500. Before you know it, you're $30,000 over the base price, and you haven't even stepped up to the GTS level yet. Here's the kicker, they know exactly what they're doing, because 911 buyers aren't just shopping with their wallets, they're shopping with their hearts. They're buying into more than a car. They're buying into a legacy, an image, a feeling that this machine connects you to over 60 years of driving greatness. It's not just transportation, it's a flex wrapped in nostalgia, precision engineering, and a Nürburgring lap time that few can match. So when Porsche hikes the base price by $8,000, they aren't sweating it. By the time you've picked your custom paint, wheels, and leather stitching, you're way too invested to back out. And honestly, you might even feel a little privileged to pay more because you're part of the club. Is this genius pricing strategy or just plain ballsy? Well, that depends on whether you're the one sitting inside the showroom, marveling at that perfect leather seat, or the one stuck outside crunching the numbers. Let's get real about the true cost of owning a 2026 Porsche 911 Carrera, and why that price tag might get even scarier. First up, maintenance. This isn't your average commuter car. You can expect to spend anywhere from $2,500 to $3,500 a year just keeping it running smoothly. Oil changes alone will set you back around $500 every 10,000 miles. And if you're pushing hard, brake jobs can cost about $2,000 every 50,000 miles. So if you're dreaming of that flat-six growl, your wallet better be ready to growl too. Insurance isn't cheap either. Assuming you have a clean driving record, plan to shell out another $2,000 to $3,000 annually. It's all part of the price of driving something as special as a Porsche. And fuel economy? Don't expect to save much at the pump. The Carrera averages about 20 miles per gallon combined. That means if you drive 10,000 miles a year and fuel costs hover around $3.80 per gallon, you're looking at roughly $2,500 in gas bills alone. On the bright side, depreciation is surprisingly kind. The 911 tends to hold about 70% of its value after 5 years, which beats many of its rivals like the BMW M4, which drops faster in value. So while you'll spend a lot upfront and on upkeep, you won't lose quite as much when it's time to sell. Now, the real wild card: tariffs. A proposed 25% import tariff on cars from Europe could kick in as early as April 2025. If that happens, your $129,950 Carrera could suddenly jump to a staggering $162,450. That's a $32,500 increase purely from taxes. Porsche hasn't made it clear whether current orders will be grandfathered in, and Car and Driver says they're still waiting on official answers. Meanwhile, buyers on forums like X and Renlist are already sweating bullets. Some are even eyeing used 992.1 Carreras, which are currently trading between $90K and $110K for models with relatively low miles. To put value into perspective, at the current base price, you're paying about $330 per horsepower. Compare that to a Chevrolet Corvette Z06, which delivers 670 horsepower for roughly $190 per horsepower, a huge difference. The 911 justifies this with luxury, legendary driving feel, and strong resale value. But the price gap is undeniable. Ultimately, tariffs could be the deal breaker that turns this flat six dream into a nightmare for some buyers. Worried about how these costs and tariffs might affect your Porsche plans? Drop your thoughts below. I'm curious how you're feeling about this price roller coaster. So, is the 2026 Porsche 911 Carrera still worth the steep price tag? Well, it depends on what you're looking for. On the plus side, you're getting incredible handling and razor-sharp steering that few cars can match. The interior now comes fully wrapped in leather, giving you that refined, premium feel every time you slide behind the wheel. Resale value is excellent too. 911s tend to hold their value better than most sports cars. And of course, there's that unmistakable, thrilling flat six-engine soundtrack that has defined the 911 for decades. But on the flip side, you're paying nearly $8,000 more than last year for mostly cosmetic upgrades, like a better infotainment system and standard leather. There's no power bump, no new performance magic under the hood, plus the looming 25% tariff on imported cars could send prices skyrocketing by more than $30,000. Turning your dream Porsche into a wallet buster. If you're a die-hard Porsche fan who values refinement, heritage, and that unique driving experience more than raw horsepower per dollar, you'll probably still say yes. This is your car. But if you're looking for a better value, or just want that 911 thrill without the sticker shock, consider grabbing a 2025 model for around $122,095. Or hunt down a clean used 992.1 Carrera in the $90K to $110K range. You can still get that legendary Porsche experience without the newest model's premium. If you decide to buy new, it's smart to lock in your order before April 2025 to avoid any surprise tariffs. And if you're all about driving engagement, check out the Carrera T model. It offers a manual transmission and a more connected purist's driving feel. For those looking used, both the 992.1 and the slightly older 991.2 models deliver plenty of 911 excitement. Just make sure you get a thoroughly pre-purchase inspection and review the service history to avoid any costly surprises. In the end, the Porsche 911 remains timeless. But is it $130,000 timeless? That really depends on your priorities. For some, that flat six soul is priceless. For others, it might just be a little overpriced. So what do you think? Is the 2026 911 still worth it, or has Porsche pushed the limits too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more deep dives on the 911 and other sports cars, hit that like button and subscribe. Next up, we'll be comparing the 911 to another legendary sports car icon. Don't miss it. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay revved up.